Hello, and allow me to introduce you to the Lulzbot TAZ 6, the newest 3D printer from Lulzbot. An iterative design change from the Lulzbot TAZ 5, the TAZ 6 is very familiar straight out of the box, but offers some new features that were previously implemented into the Lulzbot Mini, including the nozzle cleaning and the self bed leveling, which is pretty much my favorite part of the new feature list. Additionally, the tool head has been redesigned slightly with another cooling fan for the print and then a larger cooling fan for the hot end itself. Additionally, there's a spring-loaded washer that serves as the minimum Z end stop for this. So if you have that slight little bit of plastic that oozed out after your last print and you forget about it before the hot end's heated up and you home the printer, it will actually depress onto this washer and allow the printer to be homed without jamming the print head into your bed, because the little bit of plastic doesn't allow the frame mounted end stop to be triggered and causing everything to be out of level. Now, I've been using the printer for a few weeks now with the Innova 1800 filament that I was given, the Talman 910, and then the sample of NGen that will come with the printer if you decide to purchase it. And I have to say, the experience from opening the box to this stage, starting to print, has been the easiest that I have ever had with a printer. Now, I don't want to go too far into the software with the printer, but Cura, which is the slicing software used, has been updated a lot. So the setup is very easy. It walks you through selecting the printer, the TAZ 6, the tool head, the single tool head, and then you can also select which material you're using. I did not use any other settings than the Talman 910 default setting, the Innova 1800 default setting, and then the NGen default setting as well. I wanted to look at this printer kind of how a average consumer would, or as close as I can get. And I must say, I didn't have any issue with the different profiles giving me good prints. I printed about 20 objects and didn't have a single failure, which to me is really nice. It got to the point where I was able to click print and walk away. I didn't have to watch the first layer. I didn't have to do anything. I made sure that the glue stick was down if it requires it, and then just started printing. So let's get into exactly what's in the box with the printer when it comes. First of all, the documentation. This is the operation manual that I mentioned with the settings for many different types of filament. There's a safety and warning card, a start here that goes through how to exactly set it up and how to get your first print running, which is really good for beginners. And then there's a more in-depth user manual. In addition, Lulzbot gives you a Lulzbot branded tool carrying case. This has your removal knife for getting prints off the bed, tweezers, needle nose pliers, a little ruler, and then some extra pads for the nozzle cleaning. This allows you to do just about everything you need to get the printer up and running and to fix most issues that you may come across with just what's in this. So now let's talk about print quality. As you can see with the NGen 3D Benchy, the bottom is smooth, the hull is pretty good as well, even layers, and then there is a slight amount of stringing in the doorway by the steering wheel, and there's a bit of wobble on the smokestack at the top. Overall, pretty high quality. Now, the Talman 910 3D Benchy was my first ever print with a Talman product. Overall, it came out very well. The bottom is very nice and smooth. The hull has a few bumps or pimples, and then the smokestack at the top shows the same type of wobble. But for most people, this would be acceptable print quality straight out of the box. And I do believe that there are some optimizations that can be made, but again, I just wanted to do the prints just like kind of a regular consumer might. Now with the Innova 1800, I did this piece, which is just a basic plate with some holes in it. The holes are a little bit clogged, which is not ideal. I'm going to screw through these anyway, so it won't be that big of a problem. But the bottom of it is very, very smooth. And there is no warping in the plate at all. So a flat, big plate is going to be the thing with the most tendency to warp. And it doesn't have any rounded corners either, and it adhered very well. So overall, the settings that Lulzbot has work quite well. So now that we've talked about the good, let's talk about the maybe not so good. It has a one screw design where all you need is to attach it with one screw, and Lulzbot has done a very good job over the years of really optimizing this to be a simple and sturdy way of attaching the tool head. However, and I've already talked to Lulzbot about this, so hopefully it's implemented soon, I would like for this to be a thumb screw so you don't even need any tools to get it going. Right now, the Y-axis uses thumb screws, but this still uses an Allen key. Additionally, all the wires are hidden or covered with this black tubing. And while it looks nice, especially in the back of the printer, how all of the connections are hidden, internal, and very polished, I would like to see the energy chain that is used in the Lulzbot Mini to guide these wires. I think it just looks a little bit more polished, a little more industrial per se, and that may be completely my personal opinion and you may not share it, but it might be something to look into. Now, additionally for me, the jury is still out on printed parts on a printer that costs $2,500. Now, don't get me wrong. I spent 3 years researching different uses for 3D printing, the material properties of 3D printed parts, and I even made solar PV racking components out of completely 3D printed components. So I'm no stranger to the capability of 3D printed parts, and I don't doubt that they're of a very high quality. But part of me wonders how many consumers may pass by the Lulzbot for something that looks, let's say, a little bit more polished. So with that being said, this printer is going to be heading off to the MOST research group at Michigan Tech, my old research group. They're very active in open source hardware research, 3D printing research, and this is going to get tested a lot. There's many people using them all the time throughout the day, and it really taxes the printers. And we have a couple Lulzbot TAZ previous generations, they've all held up really well, and I expect this one to actually hold up a little bit better. Now, let's talk about Lulzbot a little bit as a company. So I mentioned the fact that I don't know about 3D printed parts on a printer that costs this much, but Lulzbot has been a huge contributor to the open source community. I don't doubt that Cura would not be anywhere close to where it is now without Lulzbot's contributions. So I understand that they want to keep the TAZ as a rep wrap, which it technically is. It's a little bit further from the stock i3 Prusas or anything like that, but it still has printed parts, which I think is very cool. As it's open source, just like everything else Lulzbot does, feel free to hack it, make it yours, make improvements on it, and see what you can do. Lulzbot really likes when people make improvements to their products, share it with the community, and help everyone get better. And then maybe they can implement stuff like that in the future. So I would say for me, like I said, it's a little too big for me right now, but it has been the best out-of-box 3D printing experience that I have had. Far fewer headaches than when I had my MakerBot. Don't judge me about that. I had it for a little while. It's gone now. This gave me fewer headaches, none at all actually, and I can smile by saying that. And I think printing has come a long way, and Lulzbot has made a really good machine. I would say about 90% of what you're going to want to do can be completed on this. Maybe another 5% with some hacks for some of the more specialty stuff, and then obviously some of the prints that you may want to do that are just out of the build volume of this machine or using a different technology, obviously it can't use. I think it's a very good printer, and maybe a little bit expensive if you want to start printing, but if you know what you're getting into, I think this would be a great addition to your printer arsenal. I would also think that this can be used in schools, libraries, other places where there's going to be more people using it, and the automation of the bed leveling and everything could be a great benefit. So what do you think? Are you going to be getting a TAZ 6? Do you like it? Are there things you don't like about it? Do you think it's too expensive? Let me know. Share something in the comments and let's kind of see what you think. But other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.